Hi there. How are you guys doing today? You can tell I am at home with a sick kid. So, one great thing about Google Hangouts on Air and its integration with YouTube is that I can still teach you guys. So, thanks for joining in today. We're going to be learning a lot about Google Slides. You'll notice that to the right of your screen, you will see a chat. You are more than welcome to type into that chat as we go throughout. I do have another computer screen pulled up, and so I will be able to see any comments that you make or any questions that you have. And so we are going to go ahead and get started. Just a quick reminder that I have a sick kid here. She's 6, well, almost 6, and at any moment she may come in. So just heads up about that. I'm sorry about that, but that's the life of a mama. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to screen share, and let's go ahead and get this going. All right. So today we're going to be talking about exploring Google Slides and what Google Slides really has the capabilities to do. And so let's get this in preview mode so you guys can see it a little bit better. We will start going. Woohoo, woohoo. All right, you can access this slide deck by just going to the NC extension and then clicking on right here. It will take you to a Google Drive folder that has our presentation in it for today. And this stays here, so if you have missed any of the other ones, those resources are in here as well. So you will just click on Exploring Google Slides. The schedule is in here, just FYI. All right, so let's go ahead. You'll notice the second slide actually has you to sign in. So if you will click this, there is a form that you will need to fill out to let me know that you are here. I have gotten the okay for PD credit, whether you're watching live right now or you watch in the future, for 1 hour worth of PD credit. And we'll talk a little bit more about that at the end of the video. But if you will go ahead and sign in, if you do not know your employee ID number, that is okay. Just put 0000 or 1111 or whatever, because otherwise the form will not let you submit it because it is required. So go ahead and get that filled out. And I'm going to go ahead and start talking about Google Slides. Woohoo! Here we go. All right. So the first thing that I kind of want to show you, and I like to go in order as much as possible. And now that I think about it, you guys are more than welcome to go into preview mode. I'm going to go back into my edit mode because I'm going to kind of be showing you in screencasting what I'm talking about within Google Slides. So using some terminology, one thing that Google stresses a lot is that Google Slides is a tool. Now, what I've built here with these multiple slides is called a slide deck. And so we need to start using the term slide deck with our students, or presentation, either one. But I do like to go in order as much as possible, just for organization reasons, and then also in case you get lost. And you're like, where in the world are they? So I'm going to start up here and work our way across from left to right. And then we'll kind of drop down to here, and then we'll talk about implementation as well. Like, how can we use Google Slides in our classroom? All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So the first guy that we're going to talk about is the file menu. In the file menu, there are some great tools built within Google Slides in the file menu. One of my favorites that I just recently realized, I should say, is import slides. And what import slides does is it allows you to take multiple slide decks. So think about how I just defined slide decks. It takes multiple slide decks and puts them into one master slide deck. So you could take several Google slide decks and put them into one master one without having to go in and copy all the slides and then pasting all the slides. You can just literally import one slide deck into another slide deck. So if I click on import slides, all my presentations are going to pop up. I click which one I want to import, and then I literally click select, and all of my slides will show up. So that's one little nifty tool that you can definitely figure out a way to use if you need to combine kids' presentations as they're presenting, and you don't want to switch back and forth from Chromebook to Chromebook, whatever that might be. So that is one way that you can use import slides. Another one, and I talked about this on the Google Docs, and I'll talk about it on the Google Sheets and all the other Google apps, is the version history. So the version history basically allows you to see every change that was made and who it was made by. So if I click see version history, I'm able to see that I actually started this, and you'll notice that when I click on this, it will look on November 13th, I started this at 1:48, and you'll notice that my color that's next to my name is the exact same color that's happening over here in these versions. And so if you have multiple kids editing the same doc, it will have their names, and each of them will have a color showing what they have edited. Now, I always say that Google is like Big Brother, and then I can be like Big Brother because I know how to use Google. And so you can refer back to current versions, or if a student loses some of their work and they're like, I've just got to start over, you can always go to this version history and then click restore this version. So that is a great thing about version history. I remember in school, me losing, like, my computer shutting down and me losing all my work. Well, the good thing about that is that Google saves every half second and when a change is made. And so you can get to the version history that way, or you can literally just come up here and click on where it says last edit was made 43 minutes ago. I can click on that and you'll see the exact same thing pop up. So there are two ways to get to the version history in Google Slides. The next guy I want to talk about is the download as. So you are able to download Google Slides as a PowerPoint if you're working in a program that only realizes and accepts Microsoft. You can create in Google Slides and then download it as a PowerPoint, a PDF, an images. And so just know that that option is there. You can also publish anything you make to the web, and it will get its own unique URL. You can say, hey, I want it to advance however many seconds each slide. And the nice thing about this is because when you update this Google slide over here, you actually, the updates automatically happen within that URL. So you don't have to come back to the file and republish it. There are a couple of options here, and you can look at those as you feel that, if you need to publish or whatever. So this is an easy way to put out newsletters for your students. Or you'll notice that because it's being published to the web, like, anybody can search and find it. So just keep that in mind as well. It's like the highest power of sharing that you can have. The next feature that I want to talk about underneath the file menu is the email features. And you'll notice it says email collaborators and email as attachments. So within the Google slide, you can email the people that you're collaborating with, or you can email the Google slide to like your staff or to certain people, and it will be embedded within. So you don't have to pull up and go that route. You type who it's to, give them a message, attach it how you want to attach it, and here. And so that's a feature that a lot of people do not know about within Google Slides and well, most of the Google apps ones, I guess. So is the email. The documents. So a lot of times I have a hard time finding where in the world my are, and that goes. I'm trying really hard with this organization, but if like, well, how in the world, where in the world did I put this? I can't remember. You know, and document details, what folder it's in, last time it was modified, and when it was created. So it does tell you information about this one slide deck. You can also click on the title and it will say monthlies. I can click on this and it will take me drive is also located. So just another organizational hack tool if you're, you know, if you stumble like I'm in this other folder, you can move things from here. You just use the back arrow and put it where you would like it. So that is the document details and how to figure out where in the world, no, I'm just kidding. Where in the world your slide deck or doc or is. So now we're going to talk about the whole page setup. And this one is a game changer for me. Stumbled upon this, I guess, 2 years ago when I was using Google for my newsletter. It bothered me because it wouldn't print out the correct way, or it would, you know, distort image. So you can actually go to page setup and you can go to custom and you can make it by 11 or 11 by 8.5 page. You can make it the size of an infographic. You can make it. I actually designed quite a few posters along with Google Drawings. I designed my posters for my classroom and then downloaded them as an image and sent them to Walmart, and voila, there was my frames, and spent way less money, and they matched my room. So you can change the size of Google Slides, but it does come with the default of the widescreen. So just I keep that in mind. The next guy is the print settings and previews. So I remember using PowerPoint, and this being going to professional development and getting things like, so right next to the slides. And I thought that was so cool that I could create a handout, you know, with lines right next to them or whatever. Google has their own version of it, obviously, and so that is where you will find this. You can get up to 9 slides per page. If you could care less about the background showing, you can hide the background. You can change it to portrait. You can download this as a PDF, or you can just print from right here. So there are ways to get multiple slides on. And like I said, that was like the coolest thing when I could learn how to do that using PowerPoint so many years ago. So, but that is under File and the Print Settings and Preview. So right here. Okay. So let's go on to the next. The next one, the one thing that I wanted to highlight for this is the find and replace. So you'll notice that it's at the very bottom, and I can click find and replace, and it will find every time that I have this word and I need to replace it with this word. And I can replace just one of them, or I can replace all of them. So this is built into Google Docs as well. I remember using this in Word when I needed to. And so just know that that is an option within Google Slides. You can find a word and then replace it with whatever you need to replace it with. Under view, so we're going to go to the next slide, and under view, there are a couple of things that I want to go into. One of them's a little bit tougher, and I'll kind of go through that just a little bit. We're not going to dig too deep in it, but animations. A lot of people do not know how to use animations and within Google Slides. So I'm going to go ahead and show you. First of all, you'll notice that we have these three guys right here, or these guys right here. I think there's three. Yeah. And built in, that was something that Google just went ahead and just defaulted. But you can add animation to anything that can have a blue box around it, anything that can be highlighted. So images, text, anything like that. And you just literally click add animation. I want this to, and there's so many different choices. I call this fluff in my classroom. So after the kids got finished and, you know, and got the okay of them having their notes and all that good stuff, I did let them add animation just because it's part of good design. You know, you had to make sure that this came in before this, and you know, it is sequencing, so I could tie it in if I needed to, but play it, you know, if they want to. So you can see it fades in and then it flies in from the bottom, and so that's just a quick way to add animation and a little bit of engagement within the your slide deck. So if I don't want this, I just click the X and it will delete it, and then that will not be in your slide deck anymore. All right. So the next one is the one that gets a little bit more intense, and that is the master guy. So I'm going to kind of skip out of order just a little bit, but when you go to layouts, and you get all these different layouts that you can have, right? So you get column title in 2 columns, captions, you get usually a blank one. You normally get, hey, a title in 1 column, and, you know, so forth. So you get all these layouts. But what if you want your kids to have one certain layout, and you want them to be able to access that? Well, you can actually create your own layouts using master. And you'll notice that it will bring up a gray background. Okay. I can rename this to whatever I want to name it. So I'm just going to name it practice. And then I can come in and I can add an image. Like if I wanted to add the NC logo, that means that the NC logo would be on every one of my slides that I chose this layout. So I can click which one is closest to what I would like. Over here, well, you know, as I'm designing. But like I said, whatever you add to this master is what's going to show up on that layout. So if you want every kid to have a title, but then you want every kid to have a text box that goes, I'm going to delete this text box, one text box, and you'll see, do you see where it says title placeholder, subtitle placeholder, body text placeholder. So I'm going to click body text placeholder, and I want every kid to have a body text placeholder right here as a layout. Okay. Now all this first, second, third level, fourth level, that's just showing you what type of bullets that they will have. You can change that if you want to. You'll notice that you have this bar up here, just like you normally do in the design. But once again, we're in the whole master, the whole master that we got through the view. It will not, the kids can, like, if I click, hang on just a second, I think it's hiding. If I'm like, okay, this is the one I want for my kids, you know, notice there's like a little hashtag over here. Maybe I don't want the hashtag. Maybe I want a smiley face or whatever, right? So that is going to show up on every time that they use this. And I'm going to go ahead and close out. Now, when I go to layout, I have one called practice, and I can insert the one that I just created. Okay. Let me find it. I thought I inserted it. Maybe I didn't. Woo woo. Let's try again. So layout this. I guess I didn't have my where I wanted it to go highlighted. And okay, last try. Change this. Apply layout. Practice, please. There we go. My goodness, that was intense. So you'll see that where I added, the kids can still go in and edit just like they normally would, but it forces them to use a template that so they don't have a whole bunch of choices, and you can just say, I want you to use number 1. I want you to use number 2. So you can actually name your own template, your own layouts. So I'm going to delete that slide and move on. So I think this is the one that was trying to go into practice, and you can see that it's a large text box and a small one. So maybe that's what was going on. All right. So let's go ahead and keep going. So we're going to move down to grid view. And grid view just basically will show you multiple slides at once, and you can click on what you need. But it's not, notice it's different than the preview because like I can't come up here and just click print kind of thing. It's not going to print like that. It's just showing you, hey, this is what it looks like. This is what all your slides look like. Your slide deck looks like. Down here, you'll also see I can change it back to where I can see and where I have the grid view. So that's another way to change it down. I do like the fact that I can zoom in and out here. And you can also do that using the view right here and right there. There's lots of ways. All right. So that's the basics of the view. So the next guy we're going to talk about is insert, and insert across the Google tools is pretty similar, where we can insert text boxes. And one thing that I love about inserting text boxes is that I can actually create these text boxes my own as soon as they're highlighted. I can add borders to them if I want borders to them. I can make the borders polka dots because I like polka dots. I can change borders colors. So the kids really enjoy that, especially if you're getting into the design aspect of things. So you can make text boxes more than just text boxes, because you'll notice all these guys show up here. And that is how you would change that's how you would change, you know, and add borders to your text boxes. All right. Also, let's talk about charting. Now, charting this is pretty new. I stumbled because I wanted to say like brand new, but compared to Google and as fast as they bring out new features, it's a little bit older compared to Google. It's been out about 2.5, 3 months. But what's so neat about this, let me add a slide here. So I'm going to go ahead and add a slide. And you'll notice it went straight to my practice slide that I made. But actually, I want this to be a blank slide. So this is this theme's version of a blank slide. Now we're going to go to insert and we're going to insert a chart. Now the cool thing about this now is that it actually links automatically to a Google. And so when I go into the Google Sheet, I click this little link up here. I can either unlink it or I can open the source. So when I go into this Google Sheet, it is already built for me, like the format or the template. So you can see I have period 1, period 2, team 1, team 2, team 3, team 4. Well, that's exactly what I had going on over here. Period 1, period 2, team 1, 2, and so forth. But the neatest part of this whole thing is if I start making changes to this, really update it within my slide. Hang on just a second, it's still working. I can update it within my slide and not have to retype it in. Now you can start with the Google Sheet and pull the bar graph from the Google Sheet. You can do that. Start at the slide and pull in from just insert a chart and it'll automatically start updating. So I'm just going to go ahead and just show you the difference. I have 10 and 10. So I've updated this now. When I go back here, this button is going to pop up that reminds you of the refresh button. Well, I want to update my chart. So I updated and then all of a sudden I have 10 and 10 and it's named practice and not team 1 anymore. So very cool feature that, like I said, is pretty new. And I just went under the insert. I chose which one I wanted. It built a sheet for me by me going to the little link and clicking open source. So a little bit more details, a little bit more in depth, but a great feature to have. The next guy we're going to talk about is the diagram. And so the diagram guy is under the view insert as well. You just click diagram. Up is going to pop some categories of different types of diagrams. You can click on them and you can see the different types of diagrams. So you are not building the text boxes and connecting lines and so forth. So you can actually see these. You can change however many levels you want them to have. They're very adaptable. Now, one thing that you can't do that I learned really quickly with Mr. Hill is you can't change colors. He wanted all the same colors on something he was creating, and you cannot change the colors. Once you insert them, they are the colors that they're going to be. They are editable in any other way. So instead of me having like step 1, step 2, step 3, I could change whatever I want this step 1 to be. I can change all the text in here, but it does make just more visual, a more visual display of any type of notes or systematic type of processes that you have going on. So that is under diagrams, and you can see the different types of diagrams that categories of diagrams that they have available. So that was just me going to insert and diagram. The next guy I want to talk about is video. And I know you're probably thinking, Jamie, I can just link a video, using the share button on YouTube. And yes, you can. However, it is so much better to embed videos within your Google Slides. So one of my favorite videos, I actually showed this to one of the groups at Foster Heights yesterday, is Kid Snippets math class. And if you've not seen this, you need to go on YouTube and watch it because it's just hilarious. But you'll see it right here. So I can select, notice I'm searching YouTube right within my Google slide, not having to leave. Great feature for kids. I click select, brings it into my slide. And then I have this choice of video options. When I click video options, I can crop videos right within the Google slide. we'll pause this. So I can start at a minute and end at 2 minutes. But this right here, autoplay when presenting. So when the kids hit present, it just automatically starts playing. Or when you are up in front of the class and you're in presentation mode, then it will automatically start playing, and they will not have to leave the slide deck. So pretty cool. Um, that's nice to use within lesson plans or the kids' presentations. So that's inserting in video. Word art. So, oh my goodness, that is, if that's not a Microsoft Word, I don't know what. So Google's version of word art is right here. You see what you get. So if I want to say hi, then I literally say hi, and there's my word art. Yeah, I know it's a little bit sad. I remember playing with word art because I love design but you can change the colors and add borders and whatever else. But it's just, I mean, there were multiple options. Microsoft Word with word art, but this is Google's art. I mean, you can like it out and stuff and make different sizes. You can make it different fonts, but it to arch it and everything like that. Yeah, I haven't figured out a way that. So, but it does have some type of word art, word art option. Kind of funny. Slide numbers. So to insert slide, go to slide numbers. Do you want them on or off? Do you want it to skip the title slides, apply to only the select? I mean, that's about, I mean, it is what it is. And then the special characters. Let me click in the text box so that will highlight special characters. So special characters are kind of these guys this is awesome to be used in math. I can actually draw a symbol, and I can insert from here. So this is really nice math, or know exactly what, like I said, you can insert and you just go up to it and just click it. It will give you symbols. It will give you different options. So that special characters in the insert. Have a text box highlight. All right. So now let's move on. So that was problem. Now let's move on to slide. Really interesting. If I mode and I of the slide, I can just skip a slide. So if I choose, I skip it. And do you see how it becomes, first of all, it becomes faded. It says skipped when presenting. Now, so maybe for that to show up when I'm presenting, or the kids do not want their notes to show up when they're presenting, and they just still need access to their notes, kind of thing. Be some applications of how you would use skip slide if you want to turn it off, where it's literally go back on slide and another way to apply layout, and like I said earlier, I was skipping ahead and talked about how to create a master slide, but apply layout can be found within this one screen. So slide, apply layout, that's one way, okay? And here's all the different layouts. It can be found here. And then if you right click or two on a slide, you can find apply layout. So it's a habit for me to go to the slide and click apply layout. It's a habit for me. That's kind of what I'm used to, but I mean, any of the three ways. As you're teaching your kids slides, please use the actual names. If you're not creating like your own master slide, please use the actual names for them. So if I wanted title in 2 columns, I would put T2 up on the board if I wanted them only using title in 2 columns. If I wanted them using the section header or the subtitle, then I would put SH or ST, depending on what the theme calls it. And the theme is and I'm getting ahead a little again, but the theme is like my background, common. You'll notice everything's mosaic. That's my theme. Okay. And we'll go into how to get different themes here in just a second. All right. Let's see, transitions. I also talked about this a little bit earlier as well. These little guys over here tell me that I have some type of transition animation in, and so I can you can see, you can just click change transitions. They automatically, those just guys just popped up. I mean, because it's a default. But I can change that to, flipping to cube to gallery, however I want it. And if I want multiple slides, then I can just hit apply to all slides. So, or I can have them come in different. That's another fluff type thing with the kids. Like I said, I would let them do it after with the meat of their slide deck. So the presentation part, the notes part, the content part of their slide deck. And so that's all we're going to discuss under slide. Moving right along. Let's talk about the format. So I showed this. Let me highlight one of these boxes. I showed this on Google Docs just because it was so cool, but it's also on here. So it's a struggle on a Chromebook to have all caps, right? I just normally just bite the bullet and hold the shift key and type holding the shift key. However, if I need something capitalized, let's say I want skip slide capitalized, I go to format and I go to capitalization and I go to uppercase, and it will change everything to uppercase that I've highlighted. Let's say the kids need to highlight, or they need to capitalize their title. That's the exact same way. They would they would highlight their title, go to format, title case, and now you'll see everything. Every letter that's at the beginning of a word is now capitalized. So just a cool feature to look at when we're talking about using that shift key and the all caps and things like that. Also, under format, you do have the choice to look at borders and lines, and that refers to like the borders around, and I've kind of already talked about this, but the borders around your text boxes. You can go here and do it this way. There are so many different choices down here. You've got these where, if you want square or whatever, but you can also come up here and do that as well right here with these guys. And it says border, like border weight, border dash, border color. So that is just another format thing that I didn't add on here that I probably should have, but is not found under the word format, are the guidelines. So there are red lines. You can see them popping up everywhere. But, I talk to my kids about these guidelines and why use the guidelines. If I want something directly in the middle of my slide, then I need to look for this guidelines that is a plus sign, because so many times kids just place stuff just randomly. And they need to use these guidelines because they're there for them. And a lot of times they'll ask, why are these red things popping up on my slide? And so those guidelines are there for a reason. They line up with something somehow. So just teach them and use that word guidelines, because that's exactly what they're called. Um, all right. So the next guy we're going to look at, sorry, this one took over as well. The next guy we're going to look at is different tools within slides. And these are like just great. I couldn't be happier with the tools that Slides offers us. So the first guy is the Explorer. If you've not used Explore, your kids do not know Explore, then you need to be teaching them Explore. So there's two ways to get to it. They can go to Tools and Explore, or you'll notice the same symbol is down here and they can click Explore. And basically what this does, a lot of times it will suggest layouts. So you can see already that it's taking my information that I have and suggesting layouts, okay, and themes. However, this can also be used as research, okay, a research bar or an omnibox, as you call this guy up here in Google. So if I want a picture of a toolbox, then I can go type in toolbox, go to images, and literally click the plus button, and I've not gone to Google Images. And it does give the citation here. All these are free, or they would not show up, or they're not be included. Take this and drag this around. Another thing you can do is you can search the web. When you do that, if I click toolboxes, I will go to Amazon.com. The search, like the website, will not pop up right here, but just web results will. And then also in my drive. So every time that I've used the word tool or box, pops up within my drive, and I can click this guy and it will take me to it. And so that's another really cool feature, is that you can search your drive within Google Docs, everything that has an Explore button. So just look for the Explore button down at the bottom right-hand corner, or if it for some odd reason is not there, you can see mine right there. You can go to Tools and go under Explore. The guy that we're going to talk about is the Define. So Google has their own dictionary built in within Slides. So I want to define the word history. I would go to Tools and then Define, and up pops the definition of histories. I just noticed, oh, wait a minute, it's coming back on. Okay, great. I noticed that it cut out on the screen that you guys are seeing. I just want to make sure everything was good. So you'll see that it did bring up a dictionary right here within the slide. So another great tool for the kids to use is as they are exploring slides and researching on their own and becoming leaders of their own learning. The next one is the question and answer history. So a lot of people do not use this, but it is a very, very, very cool feature. So we normally go, when we want to present something, we normally go just to present, right? However, there's this great little drop-down box. Can choose presenter view. Now, notice it says use new audience question and answer and view with speaker notes. So I can actually choose this and turn on question and answer. Okay, so I'm going to click start new. And now you'll notice it says accepting questions from Nelson County Schools. And it gives this Google shortener, okay? Now, the questions will pop up here, okay? But the cool thing about this is look, at the top of every one of my slides, no matter where I go, that shortener is there. The kids literally type this shortener in, and it takes them to where they can ask a question. Yes, how cool is that? Like hardly anybody ever uses this feature. I mean, is it a little clunky? It is a little clunky, but it's so worth instead of using a Padlet or using another tool. I mean, this is something that's built straight into Google Slides. And so I'm going to go through that one more time. All right. So all I did was, let me get out a presenter view real quick. So I went to, instead of just clicking present, I went here and clicked presenter view with my Q&A. Now it's going to say, you've already opened a new one. Do you want to continue the recent one or do you want to start a new one? Well, I just want to continue the recent one. And so I click continue recent, and this is the one I want to continue. So I'm just going to click continue. The same Google shortener will be there. And my questions appear here, and my slides you'll notice here. Now to get to this guy right here, I actually just clicked. All I did. Also, you'll notice the Q&A down at the bottom as you hover over the Q&A right here, Q&A. As you hover over, will bring up the extra, and you can answer any questions that the kids might have, or that if you're presenting to somebody, the teachers might have, or whatever. You can access your speaker notes if you need to access speaker notes there as well. So just kind of neat feature that a lot of people do not utilize because they don't know about it. So, but pretty cool. And the kids can do this as they're presenting, because a lot of times my kids wanted to ask their classmates so many questions, and it took so much time. And at the end of them, so I would tell them, you know, I showed them how to use the Q&A, the presenter view. And so a lot of times they would just type that in. I would give them time to type in that URL, and they would ask questions there. And then the presenter would actually go in and answer them after they got finished presenting. So like just Q&A, quick, easy way to get back feedback and answer questions. So that was another one of the tools. This next tool is voice typing. So notice it says voice type speaker notes, and that is this box down here. Now, in Google Docs, the kids that had trouble or that struggled on typing notes, they can just type straight into the Google Doc by using voice typing, okay? However, Google Slides does not do that, but you can voice type into the notes. Well, what I taught my kids to do was voice type into the notes and then copy and paste it into a text box up here. And so then they were still voice typing. Was it one extra step? It was, but it was quicker than them trying to type. And so I would just have them voice type, and I'll show you what it looks like. This little microphone pops up. I gotta allow it the first time. So today we're learning about Google Slides, period. I hope that everyone is okay, so when they mess up, they just literally backspace it and start again, okay? So then what they would do is they would take this, they would copy this and paste it into a text box. And there you go. And so that's a quick way to help those kids that struggle with typing and staying up to beat with what you're doing and lecturing about and presenting in your classroom. The Keep notepad. So Google Keep is one of my favorite tools, and it's this little guy down here. And if you're like, Jamie, where's my Google Keep? Your Google Keep is in your waffle. So if you just open up a new tab and go to your waffle, you have to search for it a little bit, but here it is. Google Keep they're just digital Post-it notes. But there is a free app that you can get on your phone. And so they're digital post-it notes, meaning that they go with you everywhere you go as long as you have the app. And you can collaborate. And I know this is not necessarily a Google Keep lesson, so I'm not going to go into a ton about it, but you can collaborate. Like these came from a teacher, and it was also shared with the students in this classroom. So now what you am I telling you about Google Keep? Because Google Keep and Google Slides actually talk to one another. And so if I want to take something and put it from my slide deck to my Keep notepad, vice versa, I can do that. So if I wanted to take this, save to keep highlighted what I wanted to save to keep notepad. Here you go. Here it is. It is saved to my Keep notepad. But let's say I want to add to the slide. Then I would click the three dots, or they're called meatballs in Google World. I would click those and slide it to my slide. Okay. And so that's a pretty cool way. My kids use Google Keep for their passwords for different websites, but a lot of websites have now gone on to Google one-click sign-on, where you can just click sign in with Google. But a lot of times they would use that. Any type of rubrics or expectations I had for an assignment, they would type those in there, or they would transport them into their Google Keep. So then they would have them, and they wouldn't have to be going back and forth from tab to tab, way that they use Google Keep. I did give them the choice to take notes on Google Keep. If they wanted to take notes, they could, and then just share those with me. Just some cool ways. And I love that Google Keep is integrated within Docs and Slides, both. And so that was under tools. The last guy I want to talk about on tools is the personal dictionary. And the personal dictionary travels with you wherever any Google app you are in, whether it's Docs or Slides, or has the choice of personal dictionary. One way that I thought kind of stumbled upon this one as well as I was preparing for the Docs lesson. And but the cool thing about this is I would use this for commonly misspelled words. And you know, when a kid asks you, well, how do you spell this? Like, I would have them add that word to this. Now, a lot of times I don't answer that question because there's too many resources for the kids to use to figure it out. But they could add that word to their personal dictionary and it travel with them. So anytime they're like, oh yeah, that's in my dictionary, and they could just click on it and it be there. So that is the tool personal dictionary. All right. Add-ons. I'm actually going to skip this slide because this could be a slide that that we could probably have a whole session on. And I'm looking at the time and wanted to make sure that I get to the instructional uses. So I'm going to skip add-ons for now. With backgrounds and themes, I told you that I would talk about this. So this theme actually came from a website called Slides Carnival, and I have linked it in there. So Slides Carnival allows you to not always have to use the same boring themes in your slide deck. And so you will see that these are free and you have to download them. And I'm actually going to feature Slides Carnival on the Now Playing series that I'll be sending out to you all tomorrow. So just watch that on how to get these great. You can see there's hundreds of them, it seems like. View all PowerPoint templates and Google Slides themes. You would just click that and go in, and I will show you on the Now Playing series how to use Slides Carnival and how to import the theme into your slide deck. Slide decks can already be created, and you change that. You do have to be careful with that because sometimes it looks a little funny on the format. But anyways, so that's Slides Carnival. All right, so instructional uses for Google Slides. I actually, every unit, I taught self-contained. So I taught reading, math, writing, social studies, science. Let's see, am I missing any of them? Reading, writing, math, social studies, science. Yeah. And anything that I did, and really character ed too, anything that I did, my lesson plans were on Google Slides. I've linked those there. If you have any questions about them, please feel free to reach out. I did not use, I did not have to put anything into like a plan book or anything like that. I literally shared a folder with my admin and she knew where to find my lesson plans. They were not weekly lesson plans because I can't plan out a week. It's based on my kids. And so they were more unit lesson plans. So the one that you'll see here is over force and motion and how I use them. My kids had access to my lesson plans, and also my parents had access to the lesson plans. Also, student presentations, obviously, kids can use this. Definitely, you know, and I linked a student presentation here, one from Becky Hayden's class at Cox's Creek from this year with their passion project. Newsletters, I told you that I created my newsletters on this. You can click on that and it will show you my newsletters. I only did digital newsletters unless the parent requested a printed copy. And I shared, or I had this linked to my class webpage, and change it out because you'll see when it loads, all each week is on here. A slide each week, and it automatically updated based on the link. Notice it's in portrait and not in landscape. And earlier in the video, I showed you how to do that. All right, so that is the newsletter that you can do and use. Living calendar. So this is an example from my old, from Lakewood Elementary where I used to teach at as well. And this is our living calendar. I had her share one of these with me from this year, but you can definitely look through here, especially admin. If you're watching this video, you can look through here to get another viewpoint on what a living calendar could look like. It's a little bit simpler than Thomas Nelson's, but she based hers off of Thomas Nelson. And so, you know, you can get an idea of what that living calendar looks like. Choose your own adventure. This is a whole lesson. This is a whole lesson presentation that I did with my NCS Ignites and my at the new teacher training. And so you can check that out. It's basically where you link slides to slides and slides to slides. So how you do that, instead of me linking this to something, actually, I don't want to change it. Let's say, wow, lots of information. All right, so I want to link this to the thing that I like to teach the most. So I would Control K. And now see where it says slides in this presentation. And I can choose a slide to link this to. And then when the kids hit present, it will actually take them back to that slide. So you can link within a slide deck. Madeline, here, you can link within a slide deck. Okay, so I would click, hey, let's take me back to slide 10. And then now I click slide 10 or click wow, and it takes me back to slide 10. And so just a cool, another feature of slides. All right, one-stop shop. This guy is an example from New Haven. And this is how she is incorporating Makerspace into her library. And each one of these icons are linked to something else. So the kids get this, and then they're able to make their choices. It's almost like a choice board. And when I click on this, a link will pop up and it will take me somewhere. So just kind of keep the pretty cool one-stop shop, one slide, everything's on this one slide. So that is some great ways to incorporate slides within your classroom. All right, so if you are watching this, if you will complete the evaluation form, and then also if you would like PD credit, in about 30 minutes, there's going to be a form here that you will need to complete in order to get PD credit. And so if you have any questions over that, please feel free to contact me through email, or whatever means that you need to contact me. But if you need PD credit, there will be a form right here in about 30 minutes that you'll just literally click on and answer the questions over the things we covered and just some basic general questions. So please complete the evaluation as you are watching, or if you're watching live, or if you're watching after this. And then also, if you would like PD credit, only if you want PD credit do you need to complete this little reflection quiz type thing. So I hope you guys have learned something brand new in Google Slides, and it wasn't a ton of information, which probably was a ton of information for you, a little bit overload. But thanks for being patient with me. And like I said, if you didn't see it at the very beginning, I have a sick kiddo, but am pushing through and presenting from home today. And so anyways, so I guess that will end our session. If you need me to come in and help you teach about Google Slides, or you want your kids to, you want me to create a slide or collaborate with you to create a slide deck that's interactive and engaging, then I don't mind to do that as well. So just make sure that you reach out, and don't fear the technology, because it's great stuff to expose our kids to as much as possible. On YouTube, there will be a link. So if you want to reward back to it, you will be able to. I hope you guys have a great day, rest of the day, and an awesome weekend. We'll see you next time.